It's not urine. Welcome to the Matty B Files, the podcast that broadcasts Tokyo subculture. I'm in the Yogi Kubo studio, sitting on my tatami mats, but there's no sun. The sun has set on the day. This is a little bit late, but I'm still meeting my self-imposed deadline. And this beer is a Suruga Imperial IPA by Baird Beer, which operates out of Shuzenji. Now, I bought this beer actually for a specific reason. Baird Beer might be not doing as good as they once had hoped. I had gone down. I went down there a couple of years ago to interview Baird for the Got Faded Japan podcast before I left / fired from that podcast. And they were expanding rapidly. They were getting like state-of-the-art like equipment for brewing beer, keeping beer, maintaining beer. I think they were hoping for an international expansion. But too many beers were probably hoping to expand internationally at the same time. And the idea of a craft beer is that it's a beer you get when you go there. So I don't know. Hopefully they're doing good. I like their brews. I suggest everyone to help Baird Beer out a little bit and get some of their beer. Now, one thing that I really respect actually about Baird Beer is he makes the beer he wants to make. He doesn't really care what the customer wants. And I really appreciate that because I don't like what customers want either for the most part. So his beers, they tend to have a very the floral. The scent is quite different than the taste. The head as well is quite different from the body of the beer. So if you're a beer snob like myself, then I suggest Baird Beer. Sometimes beer is too standardized. Hey, it's the crazy hoppy beer. Oh, it's the smooth lager. But Baird Beer is a flavor unto itself. Let's say it that way. And if they were in the convenience stores, I'd be buying Baird Beer, not the Aonis. But the Aonis are in the convenience stores. God bless Aoni. God bless the Blue Devil. So that's the gossip. That's the craft beer gossip in Japan at the moment. This is a drink of beer with me. I used to do these a bit more before I had a lot more guests coming on the show, and we're winding down the end of the year, and I thought I would just give a little drink of beer with me. So I have a few topics I'd like to talk about. The first topic is Tokyo diners. Now, sometimes we go on about crazy restaurants in Japan and the ramen and the all-you-can-eat and all-you-can-drink. However, as a city dwellers, I think, appreciate diners more than other people do, because the diner is a casual place where the food is kind of standardized, and you get a booth. And let's be honest, sometimes in Japan especially, you're crammed into these tiny little places, and the food might be delicious, but you feel like an elephant in a china shop. Well, you kind of are if you're a foreigner like me. You're a big elephant, big white person in a tiny little shop, and the slightest little thing can basically start a fire that would burn up a block or two. So you're always on your best behavior. I guess that's good. But the diners, you get big plates, and the diners are kind of in Japan. They're kind of modeled after, I think, 1970s New York. You remember that bubbly, da da da, bubbly, that kind of commercial? Then you kind of get a feeling for the diners of Tokyo, except they're way cleaner and the food's quite delicious. So I have a little profile of the 3 top Tokyo diner chains. Now, the first one isn't my favorite, but it's up there because I think it's the most expensive, and it's called Royal Host. And I remember Royal Host because I would sometimes go there after drinking all night in Shibuya, get some eggs and a beer for breakfast. They're open all day. Stupid. It's like 10 years ago. Royal Host. Royal Host is kind of brown. I don't like Royal Host, to be honest. They specialize in Hamburg steaks, like, hamburgers, but minus the bun. They're okay. There's better versions of Hamburg chain shops in Tokyo. So for me, I put Royal Host in there because it's quite prolific. And Royal Host, you can expect a little bit pricier. You get bigger booths. It tends to be slightly cleaner, but again, all of them are pretty clean. And I think there are fewer housewives and children running around in the Royal Host. It kind of attracts more, I don't know, businessmen perhaps. And there we go. So that's Royal Host. I think you'd be averaging 1,100 to 1,200 yen per person without drinks. That's just with water. You might be able to get the drink bar. The drink bar is amazing, by the way. It's unlimited soft drinks and teas. And not soft drinks doesn't mean soda, pop. It also implies juice and, like I mentioned, tea. They have loose leaf tea that you can just spoon in there. And they got soda. You can get as much as you want. They also have coffee. They have an espresso machine and a cappuccino machine. You can get as many cup of coffees as you want with all the rest of the drinks. And it's usually about 300 yen or 180 yen or so, depending on the options, buck or two. So that's Royal Host. I don't like the Royal Host because of the atmosphere inside, and it just feels a little stuffy to me. It feels a little Puritan, a little Victorian, if you will. The other two that I have in mind are Caesaria's and Jonathan's. And it's hard. Overall, I would say Jonathan's is better than Caesaria's, but I go to Caesaria's about 10 times more than I do Jonathan's. Jonathan's is like Royal Host, but they have a wider variety of menu, and their seasonal offerings are really cool. Sometimes they do like cheese, seafood, baked something or another. So they don't specialize on Hamburg so much, although they do have Hamburg, but their menu tends to be a lot more varied. My go-to at Jonathan's is the tandoori chicken Mexican rice pilaf. It's delicious. It's like this tandoori chicken breast, and it comes with corn and broccoli that you can dip in mayonnaise. And it also has that nice Mexican pilaf. So it's a nice unusual combination. So Royal Host doesn't really have that. And sometimes I'm trying to think of the word, and the Japanese word has replaced the English word for me for hotate, not mollusk, but it's like a type of shellfish. It's the shellfish that is white, and like, what's the French word for it? Saint Vincent? No, it's white, it's circular, and it'll fit in the palm of your hands, and they will bake cheese over that one. Mollusk? No, what is it? Hotate. Okay. So that's Jonathan's, and you're looking to pay just a little bit less than Royal Host, and you get more kids running around, which I mind less and less these days. And for me, it feels a little bit more casual, and the menu items have more offerings to them that appeal to me. And they also still have the drink bar that you can get. I used to study a lot in Jonathan's, and again, you get these nice big booths, and they have smoking and non-smoking sections. Tokyo is still so smoking. And yeah, that's Jonathan's. And again, you go and you can sometimes sit at a window and watch the traffic go by and people go by, and you get this nice big booth and people come and go, and it's quite anonymous. That's what I like about these places. It feels a little bit anonymous. As a city dweller, you get to feel anonymous. Sometimes when you go to like these concerts or events and everything like that, then you feel kind of like you're putting on airs. But at these diners, you don't have to put on any airs. And the waitresses seem like they've seen it all, and they bring you your food and it's all good. Now, Caesaria's, in my opinion, is my go-to, because, and I hate to say it, they have $1 a glass wine, or you can get a 500 milliliter decanter for 480 yen, or $4 or something like that. And their dishes are more app size, so they're more like appetizers. They do have full meals and things like that. You can get a ribeye steak for $10 at Saizeriya's. So you can get a ribeye steak and a 500 milliliter decanter of wine for 1,500 yen. So the price point, look at that price point, 1,500 yen. It's nuts. I usually get, they have good salads and soups at Saizeriya's as well. So I can get like a pork salad. So pork with vegetables with like a soft-boiled egg. And you mix the soft-boiled egg and the yolk and the vegetables and the pork together. That's about 599 yen. Then you get a small decanter of wine for 290 yen. And then you get some chicken wings, 5 spicy chicken wings for $3. And in addition, you can get like a small pizza for another $3. And the pizza, you can put Tabasco sauce on the pizza. So you can get like a decanter of wine, a salad, chicken wings, and a pizza for less than 1,500 yen, or $15. So the bad point about Saizeriya's is the music. They play this really repetitive opera music. So I always go with my headphones. There's far more housewives drinking tons of white wine in the afternoon. So you really got to compare the clientele, where Royal Host has the business class. It's like an airplane in a way. Royal Host has the business class, and Jonathan's has the economy class booster, and then Saizeriya's is basically in the galleys of one of those old ships that crossed the Atlantic to transport the ne'er-do-wells and the knaves of the time. But anyways, I usually go to Saizeriya's, and depending on where you're going, sometimes they can be quite large and quite empty. So you will be able to get a booth, not be disturbed, get some wine, get some pizza, and you can go as a group or you can go by yourself. No one's judging you at the diner, and you can enjoy yourself. So those are the Tokyo diners that I recommend. There are other ones like Denny's, but as if I'm going to go to Denny's in Japan when there's other options. And there's some other minor chain ones, but for me, the top 3 are Royal Host, Saizeriya's, and Jonathan's. So Jonathan's is, in terms of food quality, my personal preference, but price point and wine-wise, Saizeriya wins hands down. Royal Host, a little bit stuffy, but I have had some good memories in the Royal Host.
This beer is really weird. What? This beer. This beer is really weird. It's like just weird.
Smartphone zombies. I'm trying to categorize them. And I got some categories for us today. I mean, with the new media comes new trends. And everyone listened to radio and everyone watched TV. And you could be watching sports and you could be watching action movies. And the same thing is true with the smartphone. It's not a program. It's a new media. And that means everyone's on it. And everyone has these different reactions to it. So what are the reactions? Well, in Tokyo, I got some categories. Old men. These are the best smartphone zombies because most of them aren't really even zombies. These are guys that are out walking around. Their phone goes bzz, bzz inside of their pocket. They open up their phone and it's like a text message informing them of a location or something to do, like pick up carrots, and they okay, sure, and they close it and they put it back in their pocket and they continue going. They walk in a straight line. They know what they're doing, and so on. So the old men is the entry level zombie, smartphone zombie. On the trains in Tokyo, I basically put it into 2 types of smartphone zombies. Because I look at people's smartphones on the trains. I look at what they're doing. Because I have headphones. I'm a headphone guy. So One type of person is the data smartphone zombie. And the data smartphone zombie are constantly scrolling with their fingers through Twitter-like feeds. I don't necessarily know what it is, but it's basically items being separated by horizontal lines within the vertical structure of the data feed. This could be pillows. This could be boots. This could be, your online shoppers or online messaging. No, not messaging. I would put that in a different case. These are people who scroll, they're scrollers, they're data scrollers. And the other type is the game person. These people kind of really annoy me because recently with the OLED screens, they're so bright and colorful that if somebody sits next to you on the train with one of these big smartphones now, it looks like a gambling machine. There's just all these colors spewing out of it. And with the sensitivity of the screens now, basically people are tapping their screens with like 2 or 3 or 4 fingers. And it looks like somebody is wrestling with a slot machine next to you. Like they have this tiny slot machine and they're just going, they're tapping, and these colors are coming out and these diamonds are shooting out of the screen. And I'm just trying to read a book on the train, and these people, they're a little bit aggressive. They're a little bit psychotic, I think. They're a little bit psychotic. Well, so that's the thing. Now, on the street, instead of the train, we also have the text people. They're kind of like the old men. They're the people that you see, they pull out their phone, they kind of still walk and they type a text and then they close the phone. Then there's the super text people that are just walking with the phone right up against their fucking face. And they're texting and walking, and they usually have headphones in at the same time. I don't give these people any leeway. I keep walking. I walk straight. If I bump into them, fuck them. They know they're not supposed to be doing that. Then there are the bikes. Smartphone zombie cyclists are increasing. These are usually, I don't know. I see men and women, but they look like they don't enjoy their life. Like they look like they're kind of dowdy, and they have one hand on the brake and then the other hand on the handlebar, but they're looking down at like a TV program or something like that. Like they're risking their lives to watch TV on a tiny screen. Well, once it's like 3 or 4 feet away from you. The other day I saw a boy who couldn't have been older than 10 holding a smartphone, riding a bicycle on the side of the highway. Shit. Prepare for the worst. And then a new type is the wheelchair zombies. Yeah, I've seen some wheelchair smartphone zombies. People in wheelchairs with smartphones glued to their faces, and they do this weird thing with one hand. They're rolling the chair, but of course more power is applied to one wheel or the other, so their chairs are kind of turning in an arc-like fashion as they scroll through their smartphone while they're on their wheelchairs. I saw that one in a business district the other day. And about a week ago, I saw another smartphone zombie on the train, and this smartphone zombie would like park his wheelchair in the middle of like a corridor and just put on the brakes, pull out his smartphone, and all these people are trying to get off and on the train, but he's just there scrolling through his smartphone. So I was like, wow, what's this guy looking at? And I went behind him, because smartphone people are so oblivious. You can actually watch what they're doing and they won't know that you're watching them. And if they catch you, they just put their smartphones away because they feel a bit embarrassed. This guy was this smartphone zombie, this wheelchair smartphone zombie was looking at wheelchairs on his smartphone. It was like a list of designer wheelchairs. And so maybe he was hoping to get a new wheelchair. It was kind of weird. You see this guy in a wheelchair. Yeah. And, sometimes now even the wheelchairs have a smartphone holder on them so that like they can have their electric control in one hand, and then their smartphone can be hoisted up into a holder and they can look down left at their smartphone and straight ahead to navigate the passageways. Wheelchair zombies. I shit you not. I've seen a few of them. I've seen like 3 or 4 in the past month. And considering that I very rarely see very rarely see wheelchairs, I'm surprised that they're in these numbers. So how do we review this? Well, we go the smartphone zombies. We have the old men. Remember, they're the best. They don't really care that much about the smartphone culture. We got the trained people. The games people are basically wrestling with slot machines, and the data people are furiously scrolling on the street. We got the 2 types of texters, the people just sending a text like the old men. We got the facers, the people that hold up the smartphone right up to their face. And again, don't give these fuckers any leeway. And then we got the bicyclists. And I'm worried about the little guys because they don't know any better. But I think if I saw a cyclist with a smartphone get into an accident while they're on their bikes, I wouldn't even stop to help them. I would just keep on going, because what do you expect? What's the result? The result is you getting in an accident and people not giving a shit. All right, let's take a break.
I bought my stationery. I'm blowing up my date with Mary. I'm combing my hair. I'm studying with you.
Cultural communication. I've been thinking about this a lot, and especially after living in another country so different from my own for a good portion of my life. There's something about culture and background that supersedes language, in my opinion. Because I've known some Japanese people for quite a while who can speak English, but I can say that sometimes I don't really feel like I connect to them. There's a lack of resonance. Not all the time. But when I meet somebody from New Zealand or Australia, which is equally far away from Canada as most Asian countries, if not even further, right from the get-go, we can communicate and joke with each other. Even though the New Zealander might be watching and listening to New Zealand TV, and the Australian might be watching and listening to Australian TV, and me as a Canadian, I'm watching American and television movies. We can resonate with each other. So there's something to say about history and culture, I think, as opposed to just language. There might be some cultural deviation, but the longer I'm in Japan, it's not like the more Japanese friends I make, the more Canadian friends I make. Most of the people I hang out with are Canadian. And it's not like I'm trying that. And then there's also, I can connect with, on average, New Zealanders more easily than I can with Americans. Because Canadians and New Zealanders come from the British culture. We never completely separated. So it's quite bizarre when I meet up with a Japanese person who can speak perfect English and not really resonate with them. Or what I mean by resonance is something like a light bulb moment in the brain. Not like a business exchange or something like that. Not like, hey, let's do business together. I've done business with a lot of Japanese people, and I like it. I like it quite a lot. In English, too. But I haven't felt like a resonance. I don't feel like I feel like it's like a couple of layers deep. Even though I might be speaking Japanese to them, or they might be speaking English to me. For example, when I did the interview with Gravy Train last week, right from the beginning, I could resonate with Gravy. That's a stage name. But I can spend months and months and months talking to Japanese people and be like, we have a good time. We have a good time. But do we resonate? I don't know. It's a really strange thing. And the longer I'm here, the more it happens. So there's something to be said about your culture and history where you can apply it across different stratas. I can apply the Canadian history to communicating with New Zealanders and Australians. The Anglosphere, as it's called. So I don't think we're these blank slates that just come out into the world like pages waiting to be filled. My experiences tell me otherwise.
10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, only in Japan. 10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, only in Japan. Used to drink Asahi, now I'm on to Tokyo Blues. Ale good, I'll meet up with my band on the street. Can I talk, can I meet with a think about the scene over here, yeah. See me hollering down, come down, holler at me. Oh yeah, 10 years in Japan. 10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, only in Japan.
And we're going to finish off this podcast with a little bit of news. I'm trying to get a podcast organized where a guy I know who's investing in Bitcoin is going to talk about his experiences with Bitcoin, and I'm going to show him some of the recent large-scale technology programs that are being rolled out. I say I'm a musician, but I'm an English teacher, a very weird English teacher. My job is to research artificial intelligence and IoT for engineers at a tech firm. And these engineers are doing things like making revolutionary insights into satellite technology and Wi-Fi. Like, these are the people that make Wi-Fi happen, kind of thing. So it's part of I'm required to study this shit. So I'm looking forward to doing this podcast where one side presents a Bitcoin perspective and then the other side presents a recent developments into things like IoT. IoT in the past couple of years had a bad name, but there's been some really interesting developments. So this last part of the podcast is kind of being used to tease a little bit the upcoming show. It hasn't been decided when we're going to do it yet. But anyways, this is it. Lately, an application named eChat has been attracting the attention of users from different corners of the world, as well as reputable publishers and those who are interested in digital technologies. eChat is a decentralized, anonymous instant messenger with built-in multi-currency crypto wallet, high-quality content that offers many opportunities for earning money. This unique tool fulfills all major social and financial needs of users. Having advanced functionality and being easy to use, eChat has some weighty advantages among hundreds of other apps as it offers users various formats of conversation, instant transfers of money and other operations, anonymity of all data, user-friendly interface, and highest level of security. All of these have been combined in one tool due to the blockchain, IPFS, and P2P technologies, and the best encryption protocol, MT Proto. Now, I know this sounds like a press release. It most likely is, but however, we're seeing within chat systems, payment options, blockchain, cryptocurrencies all involved in one. We need to be ready for this, folks. This is coming. It's in the pipeline. Everyone has a smartphone stapled to their hand, and financial regulation is going to be finding a way to elbow its way in there, and this might be one of those possibilities. It continues. The eChat team has created a convenient and time-saving decision that is intended to change the lives of millions of people for the better by solving their problems fast and fully. Major work is being done every day to make the app better. The team attends various events in the digital sphere to introduce the messenger of the future to vast audiences. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. The presence of eChat in the digital arena has been noticed by such authoritative publishers as the Huffington Post, Boo, The Next Web, and Forbes, which highlighted the decentralized structure and high level of data encryption at the most significant advantages of Messenger. I should be reading this more dramatically because it's a press release.
Each day, the product is getting more and more appreciation worldwide. It is expected to grow up to 10 million users in the near future. At present, eChat is in its first stage of ICO that will end on December 15th. Anyone who wants to try the app is welcome to download it from Google Play and the App Store. To support the project, users may buy ETHD tokens at 75 cents USD. The time to invest under the most favorable conditions limited. Token price will increase during the next stages of ICO.
So don't miss your chance to invest in the app of the future and make your life more convenient and easy. Well, there you have it. There you have it, folks. That's some of the things on my mind that I've been, tossing back and forth, these ideas that slosh. I spend my mornings and afternoons with computer scientists and then the evenings with musicians. I'm trying to find a way to introduce music into this new sphere. And anyways, what we need to be prepared are for massive changes in the way that our finances are regulated and automation. It's going to happen. And what I suggest doing is figuring out how you're going to limit it in your personal and business life, public life. I don't want this in my public life so much. It's in it a little bit. No, sorry, I don't. Public life, go for it. I don't want this in my private life so much. When I come home, I want to kick off my shoes and have some quiet. I don't need 50 messaging systems hounding me while I'm not outdoors. But for business, now you're talking. More the better, I think. More the better, I think. So, however, if you're not aware of these changes that are coming towards you, hurtling out of the digital ecosphere, the solutions will be implemented before you even know about them. So if you can know about them beforehand, you can decide how they will be implemented once they arrive. It's kind of like, I've been thinking about this, the big box stores from America, Walmart and the like. They would come to town and they would set up on the edge of town. The local businesses would die. And then eventually people stopped going to Walmart. So, hey, it's a net loss, everyone. Yay, but at least you can buy dog food, cheese, and magazines in the same aisle at Walmart. But for a lot of people, especially in small towns, Walmart had done this hundreds of times or thousands of times already. But the people in the towns just think, "Oh, Walmart's coming. Well, let's go to Walmart." However, the implications and the results were not exactly as intended. And the same is going to be true with a lot of this technology that's being rolled out right now. A lot of people scoff at it and say, IoT. That's not it. A lot of people said the same thing about everything else that ever changed anything. So, I have like this peripheral yet central view of what's happening in these fields. And when people are spending hundreds of billions of dollars to make things happen, eventually they happen. So while it may seem preposterous that there's these e-chat cryptocurrency communication applications for your smartphone, at the same time, there are complete portable, movable convenience stores in China that are activated with facial recognition programs where the user needs to have their face scanned and then they enter the shop and the door locks behind them, and then they pay via their smartphone to exit the shop with their goods. I mean, these are already being rolled out, and they're going to spread. And if you're not aware of it, then you'll be taken advantage of it by the time it gets to you. But if you're well prepared, then you can find a way to kind of capture that technology and make it work for you. So in the future, that's what we're going to be exploring a little bit in this podcast. And, musicians invest as well, and it's not always about music. So there we go. That's the podcast. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, and catch you next. Oh, wait. Like and subscribe, people. Come on. It just takes a little click here, a little click over there. Then you can receive this very peculiar podcast where it focuses on media deconstruction, Tokyo subculture, as well as jamcasts. Jamcasts is when Nicholas Faraguna and I mic up a guitar and a drum set, record music, and publish it. And there you go. It's an original piece of music that's about 20 minutes long that gets downloaded right to your smartphone. You can listen to it as much as you like. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. Till next time.
アイドホのことは知らないけどアイドホポテトは食べるよみんな食べるからねアイドホ行ったら国立公園で月のクレーター見るんだみんな見てるからねボイシーの近くで何か食べに行こうみんな食べるからねみんな食べるからねホーチミンで会った女の子名前はセブンお気に入りの数字は11僕はいい気分セブンイレブンいい気分チャンビールチャンビールタイのチャンビールちゃんと酔っ払ったよみんな酔っ払おうからねそれであゆタイヤ雪のチケット買って歩き回っても酔っ払ってたよみんな見てたけどねメコンカロイにだって歴史の長さに感動だみんな気にしないけどねみんな気にしないけどねホーチミンで会った女の子名前はセブンお気に入りの数字は11僕はいい気分セブンイレブンいい気分僕の目をまっすぐ見て南に行こう南に行こう僕の目をまっすぐ見て国境の南に行こう国境の南に行こうみんないないところはいいねビゲローと同じビゲローバンの宇宙バンガローに一部屋プリーズみんな行きたいでしょプロショの宇宙飛行士とスペースウォーカーパーティーだみんな飲みたいでしょ若者で展望室で地球を見たら地図で見たのと全然違うよみんなびっくりだよねねみんなびっくり
Falcon passport.